Boo! Surprise! Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to make an unconventional video. Today we are covering some of the affirmations that I picked for today. Usually I do this ritual, try to do it at least once or twice a week. Better if every day, but you know how life goes. And we just read them out loud and kind of explain them so we channel that feeling and hopefully go about our day feeling better, empowered, and happy. So the first one that I've already written down is something that, well, I work on my laptop when I start the day, so I want to feel excited when I do so. So it's, I open my laptop and I am excited about what's inside it. Because, you know, sometimes we don't quite feel like working, especially if it's something tedious and tiring. So I want to feel very excited when I open my laptop, as if I am receiving good news. Just saying this out loud makes me want to kind of go and check it out and see what's happening. And sometimes, you know, most of the time actually, it's always good news. So there you go. This quote is also one of my favorites. It's not a quote, it's an affirmation, but it basically reminds me that sometimes you have this fear of, what if I manifest what I want and then get kind of like focused on myself and my ego. And you know, sometimes it can happen that people get wealthy and they sort of change, or you know, become a little more arrogant or cocky. But this is sort of the affirmation that grounds me. I'm allowed to have everything I want and be a good person. I'm allowed to have everything I want and be a good person. Isn't that beautiful? It's just such a good reminder. Another one. The story was already written. I'm just living it out loud. I think sometimes with manifestation, you have to remind yourself that every time you think of a desired reality, you have to accept the fact that that timeline and that version of you in the universe already exists. There's so many, according to quantum physics, there's so many different versions of you, and in different you know, situations and state of being, that once you've thought about it, it means that it already exists somewhere, and all you have to do is align your frequency with that desired reality. And once you're aligned, then that desired reality become yours. So sometimes we kind of get caught in the idea of, you have to figure things out and you have to work really hard to get to that desired reality. But it's best to remind yourself that once you've thought about it, it means it already exists. So the story was already written before me. I don't need to work really hard to figure things out. It already exists. All I have to do is just live it out loud. So just be in that state of being and live your life according to that feeling that you embody. So another one that's very similar to this is, sorry guys if I'm writing in a little bit of a cramped way. I don't know why I do that, but it feels like I'm remembering my life instead of figuring it out. Period. Because it already exists. All you have to do is live it out loud. You know how like with the past, it happened and it's no longer alive, but you're making it alive by remembering right now in the present moment. In the same way, you can quote unquote remember your dream life, and your brain does not know the difference between your imagination and the real life. That's why most people suffer in their imagination. So if you quote unquote remember the life, the desired reality, you don't have to figure it out. You're already living it out loud in the moment. Okay, the next one is very similar to these two. But it's just gonna kind of solidify it both in one sentence. And it's, some mornings I wake up already ahead of history. I think that's very beautiful. When you feel rich and embody the state of being of a wealthy person, it makes you feel a certain type of way compared to like, just like as a mental exercise. Imagine you just, you know, won a lottery, you won $1 million. The way you behave and the way you act is very different compared to the person that has not, you know, gotten so much money. So when you embody that state of being, your 3D reality is just catching up to how you feel and who you are. So some mornings I wake up already ahead of history, meaning that while your 3D reality is catching up to your mental state, emotional state, you as a person is somewhere different. So it's just like quantum leaping is literally squishing time. And here in the present, right here, right now, what you feel is what you get. So some mornings I just wake up ahead of history, period. To be a certain person, you don't need the 3D reality to prove that to you. You don't need people lining up, catering to every need of yours to feel loved or to feel appreciated or to feel worthy. You don't need to have a mountain of accomplishments to know that you are accomplished or worthy. That's the biggest bottleneck for a lot of people that are trying to manifest, because they think they need these things before they can feel a certain type of way. But the reality is that you have to be the person first in order to have these, things reflect in the 3D. I feel the shift the second I choose, meaning that a single decision to be that kind of person right now is more than enough to feel the shift, to know for certain, not to hope, but to know that things are in 3D reality are coming. But you don't even need those things to come to know deep down who you are. And you are a creator. You can be whoever you want to be. Period. And the stronger you feel powerful, stronger you feel, the certainty, the faster things are going to reflect in your life. Just try it out, I promise. I don't know if you can see it. Is it too bright? But it says, I like how simple this actually is. I hope you can see this. I like how simple this actually is. I like how simple this actually is. It's so simple. I hope this empowers you and makes you feel, powerful enough to move mountains. Literally. I am not becoming, I am. Period. In the previous video, I've explained the difference between a need and a desire. If you need it, you will keep needing it. If you have it, you will keep having it. If you're becoming, you will keep becoming it. But if you are, that means you are. Period. No negotiations. No doubt. You simply are. The moment I chose it, the outcome stopped being optional. Period. The moment you choose it, the outcome stops being optional. It becomes certain. It's certain. Sometimes people are afraid of success because, I don't know, there's something about being afraid of responsibility, or afraid of maintaining, or afraid of having more chores once success is certain. And this quote, affirmation, will hopefully help with that. There's nothing fragile about this. It holds on its own. There's nothing to worry about this outcome or success. It's not like glass. It doesn't break it. It can hold on its own. And I don't have to worry about maintaining it, or don't have to worry about any responsibilities. Everything works out exactly the way it should, in my favor, and there's nothing to worry about. Why? Because I've decided that. Like, you have to believe, very much so believe that you have the power to change your reality exactly the way you want to. If you have the power to absolutely ruin your life and go through hell, and there's no one to blame but yourself and your decisions and your state of being, you can absolutely, for certain, make your life as beautiful as it can get, as wonderful as it can get, as light and freeing as it can get. I'm telling you, if you can ruin your life, completely burn it in ashes, you can revive it and make a beautiful garden out of it. I'm telling you, you just need to stop negotiating with doubt and give yourself a chance to just get out, get off of yourself and relax and feel this change, feel this shift, and Just by saying these affirmations, I hope that you can feel something in you changing. You do have power. You always have power. You always had. It's just some people, some narratives and ideas perpetuated out there got the best of you. When you were little, when you didn't have, your prefrontal cortex, if you're in your 20s, is still developing. You think more subconsciously than you do consciously. Did you know that you think subconsciously 90% of time, more than consciously? All of your decisions, everything that you've done, it's not even yours. Can you even think about your next thought? These are the things that have been, influenced as you grew up. So stop, having this enormous resistance the moment you say these affirmations, because somebody somewhere back in 10 years ago told you that it wasn't possible. What is possible? You define what's possible. Don't let them have that power over you. You are stronger than this. It's not laziness, it's leverage. All you have to do is give yourself a chance. Just see it for yourself. This one is specifically for days when you don't quite feel aligned in that specific direction, when the life gets the best of you and there's something that has happened that's making you feel, upset, and it's hard to change your direction. This is the affirmation that hopefully will help you. Even this is working exactly as intended. Even this is part of the plot. Do it for the plot. Do it for the plot so that the story is more interesting. Every path, every direction you take leads you to your desired reality. No matter what high and low you're experiencing, even this is working as intended. Even this is part of the plot. Feel it, imagine it as a catalyst. Whatever low that you're experiencing right now is a catalyst that's gonna your journey. My interpretation shapes the outcome, and I choose power. Bars. My interpretation shapes the outcome, and I choose power. When you think about it, whatever that you're experiencing, the strongest frequency is going to obviously win. So if you feel like, like shit, that will be your outcome. However, the only reason you believe it to be negative is because you've decided it to be negative. When you think about it, no low and high is just low and high. It is simply what it is. But the way you interpret that situation and that feeling determines its meaning. It's like the story about the Chinese farmer. I don't know if you've heard about it. It goes like this. He had a horse that ran away, and the neighbors came into to see the Chinese farmer, and they were like, that's horrible news. That's bad. And the farmer said, maybe. Then in a little bit, the horse returns back with multiple horses, and then the neighbors come back and tell him that, hey, that's wonderful news, that's good. And the farmer says, maybe. And then the farmer's son gets onto one of those wild horses that return back, and the son eventually breaks his leg while riding on one of those horses. The neighbors come back saying that's horrible news, that's bad. And the farmer says, maybe. And then later, the war breaks out. The government is taking kids to go to the war, but leaving the farmer's son alone because of the injury. And the neighbors come back and say, that's wonderful, that's good. And the farmer says, maybe. The way we interpret them determines our state of being. So eventually, any low or high is literally the same thing. But you know how when it rains, some people associate it with negative feelings and they think it's bad. But for some people like me, I like rain better than sun. I don't like the heat. But for some people, summer and sun is better preferable than having a rainy weather. So the weather is, the seasons are. But we have our own preferences and our own ways to, interpret the situation. And the way we interpret them determines our outcome. So my interpretation shapes the outcome, and I choose power. No matter how I feel, sad or not sad, regardless of the circumstances or outcome, even this is working exactly as intended. Period. This is part of the plot. Even here, I choose power. Just think about it. Last one, bold, unstoppable, either way. unstoppable either way. Irregardless of my circumstances, irregardless of what's happening, whatever happening in my 3D reality, whether I'm broke or rich, whether I'm, dealing with this or dealing with that, unstoppable either way. I am unstoppable either way. Literally, this sounds delusional. Just trust me. Unstoppable either way. I feel how I feel either way, and I choose power. I don't need anybody's permission, even the world's permission, to define my reality, and I choose power. Hopefully today's kind of unconventional affirmations video helped you at least a little bit to tune into that feeling, and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video.